Good morning, I am Prarambha Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Prime Minister accepts diplomatic flaws during the Indian Prime Minister's state visit of Nepal. Role of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs widely criticized. Ward members protest with demands of remunerations and benefits, say can't survive on allowances for attending general meetings. Islamic State group claims attacks which killed at least 13 people in Indonesia on Sunday. A family of 6 had carried out 3 church bombings. And Barcelona's unbeaten run at the Spanish La Liga season comes to an end. Lose 5-4 at Levante in hopes of becoming the first team to finish La Liga season without a loss under its current format. Let us now begin with some latest national political updates. The role of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs was widely criticized during the recent Nepal visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The civic felicitation in Janakpur, the declaration of aid by the Indian Prime Minister, and the statements regarding the internal affairs made by Province No. 2 Chief Minister Lal Babu Raut are evidences of the failure of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli expressed dissatisfaction towards the remarks made by Province No. 2 Chief Minister Lal Babu Raut during Indian Prime Minister's civic felicitation in Janakpur. Addressing the House of Representatives yesterday, Prime Minister Oli made such remarks without naming the province Chief Minister. Chief Minister Raut had criticized the Constitution in front of Modi, which was against diplomatic norms. The Constitution has provisioned the participation and monitoring from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at all programs related to foreign affairs at provincial levels. Based on this very provision, the speech of the Chief Minister and the entire planning of the civic felicitation program should have been organized in active monitoring from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It wasn't the only instance where the Ministry of Foreign Affairs was shadowed. Prior to this, Nepal's state visit of Modi for the third time in the capacity of India's Prime Minister was made public first by the Indian media. Following that, on the 1st of May, Home Minister Ram Bahadur Thapa had stated that Modi was scheduled to reach Janakpur and that the visit would be entirely cultural and religious in nature. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs made the official visit dates public only after the preparations at Janakpur were expedited for the visit of the VIP guest from India. Previously, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's India visit between the 6th and 8th of April was also made public by India. It will not be appropriate and adequate for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to be limited to carrying out traditional functions. It is imperative for the ministry to monitor and control the activities of provincial governments in regards to foreign affairs in the transformed federal structure. CPN Maoist Centre's dissatisfaction towards Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's modus operandi was evident even during the recent Nepal visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The absence of CPN Maoist Centre ministers from the programs attended by the Indian Prime Minister is an evidence of the same. Minister for Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation, Bashaman Pun, was not made aware about the joint inauguration of the Arun III Hydel project by the two Prime Ministers in the program held at Hotel Dwarkas on Friday. The departmental minister's presence at the occasion would have been of relevance and normal. However, the Energy Minister was not invited for the occasion. In addition to that, not a single Maoist minister attended the civic felicitation accorded by Kathmandu Metropolis to the Indian Prime Minister at the City Hall. The CPN Maoist disagreement regarding the modus operandi of Premier Oli is not a new tale. From formulation of government policies and development of programs to transfer of secretaries or briefing the diplomatic missions, Maoist Centre Chairman Pushpakamal Dahal has been vocal in officially expressing disagreement, terming Premier Oli's ways arbitrary in nature. Despite these instances, Maoist Centre is of the understanding that the working manner of Premier Oli remains to change. Leaders considered close to Maoist Centre Chairman echoed these voices. It has already been 3 months since the formation of the government led by Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. However, Maoist Centre is of the understanding that the Prime Minister has been operating in an arbitrary manner without considering the need for consultation with its coalition partner. This has evidently affected the much-touted unification between the coalition partners as well. It is now time for a short break, but for more news, to stay with us. Timon Joshi stepped into the age of 99 years yesterday. His new book is scheduled to be released this year. He is also seen attending various programs almost on a daily basis even at this age. The activeness of Satyamon Joshi, who is almost hitting the century mark, is no less than that of a youth. Satyamon Joshi celebrated his 99th birthday with his family and well-wishers. Some well-wishers visited his home in Bakumbahal in Lalitpur yesterday to wish him on his birthday. Meanwhile, he attended a program in the afternoon where he was the chief guest. He often attends 2 to 3 programs in a single day. He does most of his household chores by himself. Satyamon Joshi, who has seen political changes after the rule of the then Rana Prime Minister Juddha Shamsher, says he wishes to further contribute to art, literature and culture. Satyamon Joshi has received Madan Puraskar, a literary honor of Nepal, 3 times. His 97-year-old wife Radha Devi Joshi has been inspiring him in his literary creations. Satyamon Joshi's contribution in Nepalese art, literature and culture is unparalleled. The longest and popular festival of the country, the Rata Matsyendranath Festival, ended in Lalitpur yesterday. The festival that started after the installation of the main deity on the chariot ended after 27 days by showing the voto, or the traditional vest embedded with jewels. The festival started on 19th of April after the main deity of Matsyendranath was installed on the chariot that was built in Pulchok. The chariot was pulled through Lalitpur and reached Daulakil last Thursday. The jewel-studded black vest was displayed, which is believed to be of the then Serpent King Nagaraj. To observe the Vodo Jatra festival, President Bidadevi Bhandari, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, Acting Chief Justice Deepak Raj Joshi, ministers and other high-ranking government officials made their presence at Daulakil yesterday afternoon. Now, saying the members of the House of Representatives, National and Provincial Assemblies, mayors, deputy mayors and ward chairmen have been receiving remuneration, benefits and allowances from the state coffers, ward members have taken it to the protest. They are demanding remuneration and benefits for themselves as well. Ward members have protested with dissatisfaction after the bill related to remuneration, allowances and facilities for members of the Provincial Assembly and officials of the local levels was presented at Provincial Assemblies in Province number 5 and 7. A bill has been presented at the Provincial Assembly of Province number 5 regarding monthly remuneration ranging from 20,000 rupees to 41,000 rupees for officials, excluding the chairman of District Coordination Committee and ward members of the sub-metropolis, municipalities and rural municipalities. Ward members are of the opinion that it is outright biasness among the public representatives elected from the same procedure. Likewise, the bill presented at the Provincial Assembly in Province number 7 has proposed remunerations in a range similar to that of Province number 5. If these bills are endorsed, officials of the local levels in both provinces will receive residential facility, newspapers, telephone connection, vehicles and expenses for their guests. However, not any sort of allowance has been proposed for ward members. They will receive only 1,000 rupees per day for days when they attend the meeting. Demand from the elected public representatives for remuneration, benefits and allowances from the state coffers, similar to that of the government officials, has proven that politics is not a voluntary service and has also disappointed the public with the competition of such nature. Therefore, federal parliamentarians themselves should be first prepared to make sacrifices to protect the national coffers from such competitions for remunerations, facilities, benefits and allowances. In this context, we had asked the locals in Chitwan and Rupandhei regarding why they think have facilities and remuneration become necessary for ward members at local levels. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
वडा सदस्यहरू जनप्रतिनिधि भएर आफ्नो गाउँ आफै ठाउँ हाम्रो मेरो वार्डमा आफै बनाउँछु भन्ने उत्साहका साथ उहाँहरू आउनु भएको उहाँहरूले चाहिँ भत्ता आज चाहियो भनेर चाहिँ यो जुन अहिलेको चाहिँ मुद्दा उठाइरहनु भएको छ यो सरासर गलत छ।
राति पनि सुत्न छैन, राति पनि कहाँ झगडा भन्छ त मिलाउन दुगुर्न पर्यो। दिनमा त भन्नै परेन, हामी दौडै छौं। अब कहिले अनुगमन भने, कहिले के भने, कहिले नागरिकता भने, कहिले कहाँ के भने बोकेर हिँड्यो मान्छेहरू त्यस्तै गर्न पर्यो। अब त्यस कारणले गर्दाखेरि हामीलाई पारिश्रमिक चाहिँ दिन त पर्छ।
जनसेवाको भावनाले उहाँहरू आफू स्वतस्फूर्त चाहिँ जनप्रतिनिधिको रूपमा आउनु भएको हुनाले अहिले केही समयलाई चाहिँ भत्ता नलिकन अब वडा अथवा आफ्नो क्षेत्रको विकासका लागि योगदान गर्नुपर्ने हो।
सम्पूर्ण समय हामीले वडा कार्यालयमै दिनुपर्ने भएको हुनाले त्यो व्यवस्थालाई पनि मध्यनजर गर्नुपर्ने अहिलेको आवश्यकता हो।
सेवा गर्ने ठाउँमा विकास गर्न एउटा राष्ट्रको निर्माण गर्न जानी अथवा राष्ट्रको सेवा गर्न जानी मान्छेले यो चाहिँ नि मिल्दैन मेरो विचारमा।
हिँड्नु पर्छ, डुल्नु पर्छ, मोटरसाइकलमा तेल जलाउनु पर्छ, जनताको लागि सेवा गर्न हिँड्नु पर्छ। उहाँहरूलाई पनि हैन पैसाको आवश्यकता त अलिअलि परिहाल्छ।
It is now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, why did the Ministry of Foreign Affairs role look weak during Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Nepal visit? Your options are A. Lack of effective willpower, and B. Lack of coordination between the centre and province. The voting is on. You can type NEWS, select your option A or B, and then send it to 8080 to share your opinion with us. With this, we move on with the international news. A family of 6 who carried out 3 church bombings in Indonesia had returned from Syria. The Islamic State group has claimed the attacks, which killed at least 13 people on Sunday. A mother and 2 daughters blew themselves up at a church, while the father and 2 sons targeted 2 others in Indonesia's second city, Surabaya. National Police Chief Tito Karnavian said they belong to an IS-inspired network, Jima Ansarut Daula. Police say the family were among hundreds of Indonesians who had returned from Syria, where IS has been fighting government forces. No details were given out about the family's alleged involvement in that conflict. The bombings are the deadliest in Indonesia in more than a decade and also left more than 40 people injured. Visiting the scene of one of the attacks, President Joko Widodo described them as barbaric, adding that he had ordered police to look into and break up networks of perpetrators. This appears to be the worst attack linked to IS in Indonesia. The group claimed its first attack in the country in 2016 when 4 civilians were killed in explosions and shootings in the capital Jakarta. It has also claimed other attacks, including one in a high-security prison near Jakarta, which killed 5 members of security forces earlier this month. Now, Pakistan has prevented a U.S. diplomat involved in a fatal road accident in Islamabad to leave the country, a move that could further strain the bilateral ties. Pakistani media showed footage of a U.S. plane at Noor Khan Air Base in Rawalpindi near Islamabad that reportedly arrived yesterday to fly back defense attaché Colonel Joseph Emmanuel Hall. A security official said that the Federal Investigation Agency refused to give clearance to Hall flying out of the country, as his name was on the blacklist and he could not leave Pakistan. The plane later went back without the passenger, according to officials. The development came a day after Islamabad High Court passed a judgment that the U.S. diplomat did not enjoy absolute immunity. It also ordered the government to decide about adding his name to the exit control list, which controls the movement of people wanted by courts or those involved in corruption. Colonel Hall on April 7 jumped a traffic signal in Islamabad and hit a motorbike carrying 2 men. One of them was killed. His father had approached the Islamabad High Court to stop the diplomat from leaving the country. We've got more news coming up, but right now it's time for yet another short break.
Sports news.
Barcelona's unbeaten run at the Spanish La Liga this season has come to an end. Barcelona lost 5-4 in a wild game at Levante, ruining the La Liga champions' bid to become the first team to finish the Spanish league season without a loss under its current format. The Catalans were playing without Lionel Messi, left out of the squad by Ernesto Valverde to rest ahead of a demanding summer for the Argentina forward at the World Cup. Led by Emmanuel Boateng's hat-trick and 2 more goals from Enes Vadi, Levante were heading towards a historic rout of the recently crowned champions when the host built a 5-1 lead after 56 minutes. But Barcelona rode back with Felipe Coutinho adding 2 more goals to his first-half strike to complete a hat-trick of his own before Luis Suarez converted a penalty in the 71st minute. Suarez headed high and over the bar from the close range in Barcelona's last chance to snatch a draw. The upset at the hands of a modest Levante side fighting to stay out of the relegation zone most of the season ended Barcelona's bid to go all 38 rounds of a La Liga season undefeated. 2 teams pulled off the feat in the 1930s when the competition only had 10 teams compared to 20 now. Now, Manchester City has created yet another record at the English Premier League by garnering 100 points in a single season. City, who were crowned champions, already saw off Southampton 1-0 in the last match of the season played last night. Gabriel Jesus scored the only goal of the match to secure 3 points for City. Jesus, who came in as a substitute, found the net in the closing minutes of the injury time of the second half to ensure 100 points for City in a single season. Pep Guardiola's side had secured 50 points each in home and away matches. In another EPL match played last night, Liverpool saw off Brighton 4-0 to secure themselves a top 4 finish. Mohamed Salah, Dejan Lovren, Robertson and Dominic Solanke scored a goal each in Liverpool's victory. Salah also won the Golden Boot, having scored 32 goals in the season. With 75 points, Liverpool finished 4th in the table and have qualified for the UEFA Champions League next season. Elsewhere, third place Tottenham Hotspurs got better of Leicester City 5-4. While Manchester United secured a 1-0 win over Watford, Chelsea suffered a 3-0 defeat against Newcastle United. With the loss, Chelsea's hopes of making it to the most coveted club-level championship in Europe, the Champions League, has come to a sour end. Arsenal finished 6th in the EPL table this season. In the last match of the season, Arsenal saw Huddersfield 1-0. Swansea, Stoke City and West Bromwich Albion faced relegation. Matches played last night have concluded the EPL season for 2017 and 18. And now, before we wrap up, here's a look at the top stories one more time. Prime Minister accepts diplomatic flaws during the Indian Prime Minister's state visit of Nepal. Role of Ministry of Foreign Affairs widely criticized. Ward members protest with demands of remunerations and benefits, say can't survive on allowances for attending general meetings. Islamic State group claims attacks which killed at least 13 people in Indonesia on Sunday. A family of 6 had carried out 3 church bombings. And Barcelona's unbeaten run at the Spanish La Liga season comes to an end. Lose 5-4 at Levante in hopes of becoming the first team to finish La Liga season without a loss under its current format. That is all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Have a great day ahead.